Hello again, this is Robert Cross putting together a assignment for week 7 of Introduction to Firearms with Sonora Desert Institute. My instructor is Cody Vaughn. And again, I've got a sort of pre-cleaned Glock 19 in front of me, Generation 4 Flat Dark Earth. And we'll go over some of the procedures to disassemble and clean this pistol. There we go. A little afraid of my camera falling over. Let's make sure that doesn't happen. Okay. Now, here's the pistol, Glock 17, or Glock 19. I've got a 17. I don't know why I keep saying that. This is the 19. Okay. So to take this apart, you're going to sort of just grab the slide like this. There's a little takedown pin right here, right? And before we do this, we're going to, again, we're clear and safe. No ammunition. Trigger squeeze. Okay, there's a disassembled magazine, but no ammunition in the area, so we are completely clear of ammunition. Okay, so slide this down, bring the slide back just a bit, and that whole thing will come apart. And here you've got your lower receiver and magazine well handle, all that. And then there's the slide assembly, action spring, and barrel. Okay, to completely take this down into the main components, just take the spring off to the side, barrel out, and there we go. That's a taken down Glock. Okay. So some of the cleaning procedures you would do with this, and actually in the very handy kit that was sent as part of the course materials, this brush is actually really good for getting inside these cutouts on the sides of the slide, and also good for getting a hold of the slide holding, the slide securing assemblies on both sides of the lower receiver. And something else that came with the kit we were given was some stuff I hadn't heard of, but I used it in the cleaning of the pistol, and so far it does well. Particularly the carbon destroyer did a very good job. So the cleaning procedure is going to be, for the first few things that I like to do is get some of the carbon destroyer on the smaller end of that brush, and then brush it inside those grooves. Get those grooves nice and clean, and both sides. There you go till you're coming back nice and clean, or you got a nice clean looking slide. And then it's going to be the same thing on all the narrow parts here. Give that a good brush. Keep going till you got the visible carbon off, or you're coming back looking clean. There. And then, there goes the camera. Something I typically do is just take a paper towel and fold the corners up and just get the excess wet out of there. And when you're coming back with that nice and clean, not with any little black dots on it, you're probably fine, okay? And again, maybe get yourself a new little bit to pinch. Right down there. Both sides of that. You gotta wipe off too. Okay. And then what you would do next is a bigger part of the brush. You're gonna apply more of whatever cleaner you have, but turns out this stuff is pretty amazing, in my opinion. I'm about to do an AR-15 with this, not for the class, but I've got a couple AR-15s that could use it. And just apply to the bigger end of the bristles. And then get your bigger components. Right inside here, the feeding hooks and all the trigger mechanisms and everything back here. And then across the front of that. And then of course, if you've shot a bunch, you're gonna have lots of carbon built up on the front of you're gonna have a lot built up on the front of the slide, and you'll also notice that you're gonna get some built up on the front of the lower receiver. It's gonna really get into that rail, and you clean that up well. Put that off to the side, and then not magazine time. Okay, and then you're going to take what I like to use, this is another piece that came with Sonoran Desert Institute's kit, or a bore snake. I've got a 9mm bore snake, but we didn't get that out today because I wanted to use as much of the class set kit as I possibly could, so that's what I did. And the original issue Glock brush is usually fine as well. But what I did this time is put the Carbon Destroyer on the copper. Let that run on there, okay? Then take it by the lug end of the barrel, pull it through there, and that'll start coming out nice and clean. You'll probably get a little bit built up on your hand. You can probably see where I've cleaned it before. I don't know if that's showing up, but it's built up on my hand a little bit there. Okay. Once you get that brushed out nice and clean and all the black stuff stops coming out, then it's time for the oil. And this is what I used. I haven't shot with this yet, so I can't give an honest review of it. But if it's anything is anywhere near as good as the Carbon Destroyer, I think this is going to be fantastic. And what I did was I put it on the original equipment Glock brush and just oiled that brush real well, or oiled that barrel out real well. I don't know if that'll show up, but you know, get that thing as nice and shiny as you can on the inside. Let's see if it shows up better. Ah, okay, that looks, you can see a little more that way. Okay. So we're finished up with that. Take a paper towel and clean the solvent off your narrow end of your brush. And then oil. Just a little bit. Glocks don't call for much, but they do call for some. Right down there again. Right down there again. You gotta be careful not to over apply. They don't really call for as much as other firearms do. And these here. And there. And the Glock owner's manual calls for just a little drip back in here. So, one drip. There we go. And to assemble this again, let's get the parts around so everybody can see what I'm doing here. Okay, we got the slide, barrel, pretty obvious fit. Set this on the lug. Get that nice and centered, okay? Then you've got your clean and clear lower receiver. Set the slide on the rails. Okay, that's back right there, and then just a little, and you'll hear it. There we go. That's the pistol back together. And the magazine components. It's the outer shell of the magazine, the magazine spring and the follower block, and the floor plate. Get that back together. I took it apart earlier and cleaned it, but I think this is one of the magazines that I just had not fired yet because this is a fairly new pistol, and I have not fired all of these magazines yet. But there we go. Got the floor plate there, or not the floor plate, but the follower right there. Slide this on. Glock's got those little ears that keep it in place. I haven't had any other pistol have that but them. And then click back into place. There we go. Brand new magazine back together. Very good cleaning kit they sent us, and a very good book. Here's the textbook that they sent. I was beginning to wonder when we were going to use this, but here it is. I think most people are fairly familiar with cleaning firearms, but a lot of people really aren't, and this kind of thing could help, especially a book like that. Our dads and granddads didn't always teach us the right thing, and sometimes you don't even get the best training for it with military and police departments. Military probably yes, but I've heard some weird advice at the police department I work for, and these guys will clear it up for you. Thank you very much.